Greetings, this is Coach Jackie, and this is another of our career series videos for high schoolers. Our career series includes live online sessions that you can sign up for, career assessments and group coaching, as well as one-on-one coaching for those who are interested. In today's video, we are very pleased to have Mercy Wasike, who will share with us the story of her career. Welcome, Mercy, and thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. So my name is Mercy Wasike, and I'm a registered nurse. Before I became a nurse, I was a teacher, and I decided to become a nurse because I really wanted to do a bit more with my life. I'm not saying that so I can put down teachers. It's just that I felt a pull to really dig deep and utilize all my gifts. And I found that becoming a nurse allows me to be able to balance both professions very well. So the subjects I chose in high school were pretty much a mixture of both sciences and arts. I was very lucky because at the time we really did not need to make that decision very early on. We started off looking at 14 subjects, and by the time we were sitting our exams, we had narrowed them down to 10. My 10th subject was music, so incidentally, I proceeded to study and become a music teacher. But why did I? What qualities would you need to be a good nurse? You need to like working with people. Compassion is very, very important because as nurses, we see people really when they're absolutely vulnerable. They need us to have the humane side of us come to the fore so that they can trust us to be there for them at a time when perhaps they're not able to do that for themselves. We are very privileged to be there at the very beginning, and very often we are there at the end. We have to be able to communicate well. Very many times when you have to work with a nurse, things are not going well, and it's often reassuring if your nurse can explain things to you clearly, understandably, allow you to ask questions and clarify things. You need courage as a nurse. Definitely, you have to be courageous. There'll be very many times when you're going to be called upon to advocate for the people in your care. There might be children, there might be patients who don't speak the same language as you. They might be elderly people who just want to be sure that all the decisions that are being made about and around them are for their own good. So you have to have the courage to be the patient's voice, to stand up and say no when whatever is being talked about is not really for the good of your patient. You need to be competent. We have to have the correct knowledge to be able to translate it practically so that people can get better or learn how to live with whatever it is that's impacting on their health. So definitely, competency is one of the qualities we need. And we continually up our knowledge to make sure that we are current and that the evidence we are using is the best possible. Every other time there is research going on that relates to our work, and it is expected of us that we will continue to dip into the research and be able to apply it in our day-to-day dealings. We need to be caring. You couldn't do this job if you really don't care. And to care sometimes means making your patient a cup of tea, or perhaps just repeating the things you've said 7 times already in a way that they will be able to understand, so that you leave them feeling better in the best way possible. So those are just some of the qualities that I feel that we need as nurses. We need to be caring, we need to be competent, compassionate, courageous, and we need to be committed. You couldn't do this job without commitment. It needs to make sense to you. and you need to feel what people feel, so that it actually doesn't always feel like a big burden. It is a labor of love, but if you feel it's the best thing for you, it is the greatest privilege ever. So what do I do on a day-to-day basis? Really depends. In the very beginning, I was what you would call a clinical nurse. So I came in every morning and I had a group of 6 patients. I would help them with a wash if they're not able to do that for themselves. If they can do it, I would provide the bowl of water and the soap and then draw the curtains and give them their privacy and dignity so they can freshen themselves up. Then I would make sure every patient of mine has the medication they need. They might be due to go for a procedure. I need to make sure they understand what's going to happen. If they don't, I need to call their doctor so that together we can actually ensure the patient has clarity around what they have signed up for. So once they feel clean, or I have helped them get clean, they have their medication, we need to think about their food, and then we let them spend the day with us while we work on different things to help them get better, or as is the case sometimes, to allow them to have a dignified death. At the moment I'm in a leadership position, so I continue to use the same skills I used with my patients, but now I use them to empower my colleagues who are actually at the direct point of care, so that any policies and strategies that are made are actually for the benefit of the patient, and that they enable the nurses at the point of care to be able to fully utilize their skills and not spend so much time trying to get through red tape, I would say. So there's no day that's similar. So at the moment, a lot of my days revolve around meetings, all sorts of meetings. I look after quality, so I need to make sure that the care we are providing does not cause any harm. So we have different committees. We look at infection prevention and control, which I'm sure is on everybody's mind at the moment, given that we are in the middle of a pandemic. We look at safeguarding. Remember, we said a nurse has to advocate for those in their care. So when we have concerns, we will always flag them up so that people are actually not in danger given where they are living. We look at workforce. At the moment, we have a shortage of healthcare workers. The evidence from the World Health Organization is that by the year 2030, we're going to be short of 40 million healthcare professionals, and that will include 7.6 million nurses. So we are constantly thinking about how best to support the workforce we have, how else we can encourage other people to join us, and what we can do with the people who wish to continue working but need to work in a different way. So just depends what's on top of the list. That dictates the kind of day I have. But some of the things I love about my current role is that I'm privileged to be able to visit different teams, meet some of the people we look after, and at the same time use my knowledge, skills, and experience to support colleagues who are just starting their own journey of this wonderful career. What, if anything, surprises you about this career? That's one of the questions that I've been reflecting on. So I'm very surprised at how much you can do as a nurse. So I've just given you a snapshot of my day when I was a clinical nurse, and at the moment I am in a leadership role. But as a nurse, you can also go into teaching. So you could teach in an institute that prepares people to become nurses, or you could do research. So you could be looking into treatments, you could be looking into the quality of care people living with a disease are going through. And once in a while, you can merge two different things. So you could be a clinician who teaches, or you could be a researcher who still undertakes clinical work. A nurse can work on an aeroplane as an ambulance, which is an ambulance, so you can airlift people from one part of the globe to another, You could work in a prison because prisoners are people and they need to be looked after to get good quality care. You could work in people's homes. Some people choose to continue to receive care at home. You could work with old people either in their own homes or in a care home. You could work for Mercedes-Benz, because everybody who works for Mercedes-Benz needs to be aware of what impact the work they are doing has on their health. So if you're working in a place like that, you would be an occupational health nurse. You use the same skills like any other nurse, but you think about work and the impact it has on the people. You could work on a cruise ship and travel all over the world as part of your role. So you're actually with the people on the cruise ship and available to them when and as their health need demands. You could work in the military and be on the battlefront so that when people get injured, you're there to walk them through their trauma. Those are just some of the things you could do as a nurse. And that is one of the things that really surprises me, that I couldn't spend my entire life doing everything that's available to me as a nurse. Describe your career trajectory. So I started off as a rotation nurse, which means I spent some time looking after patients who had had surgery. And then I moved on 6 months later and worked with patients who have a medical condition. When you have surgery, you come in and we actually open you up and rectify the problem. But if you have a medical problem, for instance, diabetes, then we have to work with you to help you manage the problem. Sometimes it can be resolved, but unfortunately, there are times where you then have what we call a long-term condition. And our role is to help you find the best way to live with whatever is going on with your body. After that, I moved and became what you call a professional development nurse. That's a role I really loved because it allowed me to be a nurse and a teacher at the same time. So I worked with new graduates, helping them settle in, understand what it is to be a professional, and begin to practice what they had been learning. After that, I did some strategic work, looking at policy and putting things in place to be able to help my junior colleagues settle into systems. And so we were making systemic changes and projecting into the future, thinking about the workforce so that we have the right people with the right skills in the right numbers in the right place. And as I alluded to earlier, at the moment I'm in a leadership role, and my portfolio covers workforce and quality, among other things. I would just like to say it's taken me only 17 years to be able to move into that direction. What advice would I give a teenager if they're considering nursing? You're thinking in the right direction. You will have so much satisfaction. There will be days which are difficult, but every good day makes up for the days where we have to dig a bit deeper. It is a privilege to be with people. I could never say that enough. It is a privilege to be there when you're really needed, and it's a privilege to know when to step aside. The truth is we are short of nurses. 7.6 million in 2030. If you're a teenager now, you can just start your own trajectory. Pick the right subjects. You need to know your biology. You need to look at physics. You definitely need your maths because you need to know the doses of the medication you're going to be given. And your languages are so key because we talked about communication being an important quality. The things we write about our patients is evidence that is sometimes requested by a court of law. So you need to be able to communicate very clearly in writing and verbally. But also you need the right attitude and a willingness to work with people. You need to be teachable. There'll be days people have to correct you and you just learn the lesson and be able to move on. Don't think twice about it. If you have a chance, try and get a nurse and shadow them and just learn a bit more. There's so much you can choose from. So a lot of times I hear people saying, I couldn't be a nurse, I'm afraid of blood. you can be a nurse and not see blood every day. So don't let that put you off, please. Just dig deep, get your sums right, get your writing right, start having an idea of how the body works. And I'm sure there isn't a single institute that trains nurses that would refuse to offer you the opportunity if you have the right academic qualifications. We look forward to continuing to work with you, because as a profession, we are one big happy family, and we could never have enough nurses. Thank you for the opportunity, and all the very best.
Thank you very much. That was Mercy sharing with us her story about being a nurse. This was Life Skills Coaching Career Series for high schoolers. And as I said, we were speaking today with, or we were listening to Mercy today. Mercy is a nurse, and I am sure that you have learned a lot from what she has shared. I have certainly understood much better what a nurse does than I did before. This is just a reminder that as part of our career series, we have got monthly live online sessions, career assessments, as well as group coaching, and you are invited to sign up for our career selection online workshop. You can go to that link, lifeskillscoaching.co.ke career series, or send me an email, jackie@lifeskillscoaching.co.ke. Thank you very much, Mercy, and I really wish you all the best as you continue on your journey, helping and loving people.
Thank you.